understand you need it. I'm going to give you as much as I can. But you have also, you are not in kindergarten, you have also to understand that there are boundaries, there are limitations. Let's see what these boys have to say. The boys, they are saying a manager must be able to acquire resources and influence decisions in order to provide staff members with the environment and rewards they need. Now that is why, when we do the HR certification course, we strongly, in the recruitment module, we strongly advise, and which most of the corporate bodies are doing nowadays, is conduct psychometric testing in recruitment. I'll give you an example that came out in one of these magazines. In Google, there was this marketing manager who had all the relevant skills, knowledge, qualifications. He was one of the super performers at Google. Okay? Performance bonuses, rewards, promotions, he was getting it all. And then he found a job with the Royal Bank of Scotland. Okay? For a higher pay, of course. He joined the Royal Bank of Scotland and he was asked to leave in the next 3 months. Can you tell me why?
Environment.
Environment, culture. Google is somewhere you come down wearing a jeans and a t-shirt. You have a jukebox in the office. You have pool tables. You have bean bags. Okay? Royal Bank of Scotland is a black tie affair. So he could not settle in. So when you are hiring somebody for your organization, first you have to understand, and with this psychometric test, you can find out in numbers what is the culture score of your organization. It's not a good score, there is something called a good score or a bad score. Okay? Let's say your cultural score is 7. And then, when you go out for hiring, you hire people with a score which is plus minus 1.5 of 7. If you're hiring someone who's a 3, he can be a great guy in terms of his knowledge and experience. But it will not gel. Now she wanted a, what's your name? Asir wanted a break, and when I talked about cockroach, I don't know if you've seen her face. Okay? She would have almost died there. Okay? Now let's say Asir is sent out to get married to Mr. Lee Yong-tun from China, Mandarin. Okay? And on our honeymoon, Asir finds out, the husband says, darling, just for you, chocolate-covered cockroaches, specially ordered from Taiwan. Okay? She'll commit suicide. Yeah. Okay? But Mr. Lee Yong-tun can actually be a nice guy. All said and done. But culture. Culture.
But
So
it depends on the weight. How much you put on this category.
it is safe. It's just to be on the safe side. Nowadays people are talking about security. So if you have someone who is plus minus 1.5 with your organizational cultural score, this happens. A manager has to use power to control staff. Different power dimensions are used to fit specific situations. A manager needs to transfer power to the staff, as you pointed out, sir. Empowerment, delegation. Use that power. See the movie, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a chance, the Magnificent Seven. You'll see it in life. Empowerment. Empowerment is, I don't care what it says. Empowerment is about what kind of faith you have on the ability of your staff. What kind of faith you have on the competency of your staff. What kind of faith you have in the integrity of your staff. That yes, he will do the job. You will stand up in between him and the department head and say, sir, I know he can do the job. Give him a chance. Now that will increase his motivation as well. That my line manager has so much faith in me that he is ready to fight the world for me. I have to. Even if I don't want to, I have to give him my best. Empowerment is based on the idea that giving employees skills, resources, authority, opportunity, motivation. I think I've said that already. The 10 strategies for successful empowerment: develop shared beliefs. If you remember, ladies and gentlemen, when I talked about the best HR manager in this region, I talked about Prophet Muhammad. He did not exactly go out and grab the collar and say, hey, you have to follow Islam. He developed the shared beliefs. And how he did that? Communication. By touching lives. How many lives are you touching on a daily basis? Touching lives will never happen with emails. Thank God he did not have email facility then. Okay, or anybody for the matter of fact. Thank God there was no Facebook. If he did not, then probably he would have just opened a Facebook page then and said, like my page. Never happens. Touch lives. At least touch the lives of your department people. Develop the shared beliefs. Empower the clients, your internal clients and your external clients. Go out to the other departments and say, who are your external clients, and say, how can I help you better? I know I'm supporting you, but how can I support you better? And if you go out and ask them, and they will tell you, initially they will complain. If you are not exactly together department-wise, if you have let's say I'm sales, she's HR, okay? HR is always the villain. HR is always the villain. Nobody will ever go out on Valentine's Day to give a Valentine's card to the HR manager. Nobody. Okay? So if you go out to the department or the departments that you work with, let's say production, operations, HR, the departments that you are linked with, and if you go out and ask them, how can I, or meet them in a boardroom also, that how can I help you better? How can I support you better? Not that how can you support me better? And if you hear out what they have to say, okay, they will also hear out what you have to say. As I said before, ladies and gentlemen, this module is a module of sensitivity. This is a module of romance. This is a module of people. There is nothing technical about this module. Allow staff to direct personal growth. Ask your staff, when you do your individual development plan, when you do your performance management and you ask your staff to write down about their goals. We talked about Maslow, self-actualization. Okay? What I dream to be. Find out what your staff dreams to be. And don't do that in a boardroom. Go out. Okay, you have a lovely beach. You can go to the desert. Camp for overnight. Bonfire. Guitar and songs. And find out what your staff wants to do. What do they dream of? Understand your client's needs. Develop symbols of empowerment. By symbols of empowerment, I'm not talking about people. You have to be like Zaid. No. You have to do things that he has done probably. Share information. Now we rarely share information. And when we do, we share too much, unnecessarily. If you see the number of junk that gets posted on Facebook, it's an example. Okay? Share decision making. Especially in a department, put your staff together. What did we do when we discussed about the break timings? We took everybody's consensus. Guys, when do you want your break? When do you want your prayers? When do you want your lunch? We all agreed. Okay? And that makes things more comfortable. People feel important. People feel wanted. Forget about important. People feel wanted. That my decisions or my outlook is also important. Practice the consensus decision making. Ask your staff, ask your department, what do you want to do? How do you think this can be tackled? We have a project. How do you think we can do? Who will do what? How much time do we need to take? Don't, as a department head, sit down and make the decisions. You're not God. Take them into account. Develop budget consensus. The amount of money that you're going to pay or spend. How? And create a common vision. If not for the entire organization, at least for your department. But that vision has to be in sync with the organization's vision as well. And that guidance you have to do. Oops. Some of the empowerment practices. Having the responsibility and authority to break rules. Okay, now let me tell you another story for the breaking rules. Almarai is a Saudi company. Okay? Almarai has got very strict rules about alcohol. Okay? Now Dubai, UAE is an alcohol-free zone. Alcohol is available in Dubai. However, according to the policies, you cannot drink in the staff accommodations. You can go out and drink and come back, but you're not allowed to carry a bottle inside the staff accommodations. Now the rules are very strict for that. It's a zero tolerance policy. If you're found drinking in an audit, you're out. No warning letters. Okay? In Dubai. Now, when I was in Almarai, and sometimes I used to see these the staff accommodations are only for salesmen or salesman assistants who stay there without their families. They have nothing to do but drink. Okay? They come back from work and most of them drink. Either go out or something. So every day some people are, sat on the other. And I used to see the reception. People are waiting, sad-looking people are waiting, and I knew that maybe an alcohol case. So one day when I walked into the office, I see this Kenyan guy. I knew he was a Kenyan guy because I met him in one of the sessions a few days back. Very intelligent guy. He was sitting in the reception. His eyes were red. Okay? His eyes were red. And I thought, maybe an alcohol case. So I walked into my office. He was from the logistics. After a while, the regional logistics manager comes to my office. And he says that, Deep, there is a situation. I said, what? He said, this guy, he's 6 months old in the company. And last night his son has died. Okay? And he wants to go back to his home country, and he has purchased his ticket. But since he's just 6 months old, the company wants him to deposit the visa money, which is around 2,000 dirhams. Okay? Now he's a poor guy. Okay? He has already bought the ticket from his own pocket. He doesn't have money to deposit. Okay? And the company would not release his passport. And you know what? Me as a parent, I realize that if my son has a cold, I get paranoid. I call up my wife 15 times and said that he has taken medicine, did he sneeze, did he cough, has the cough resided, how's the fever, how's the temperature? And this guy's son has died. I mean, how he must be feeling inside. So I went up to the personal manager's office. I had the authority because of my position. I trust my position here. Okay? And I said that if he doesn't come back, I'm signing this bond. You can deduct the 2,000 dirhams from my salary. And seeing me, his manager and the other guys, few other guys also came. They also signed that if he doesn't come back, you can deduct the money from our salary. He went. He came back. And now he's become a manager himself. Okay? But the integrity that he had for the organization and for few of us is unparalleled. So sometimes, I'm not saying, because we did not break the Almarai rules. If he wouldn't have come back, Almarai would have probably deducted the money from our pocket. Okay, no problem. But sometimes you have to go the extra mile. You have to feel from the other person's shoes as well. It's a win-win situation. And you'll remain his leader for the rest of your life. Staff setting and monitoring and the production goals, which is about goal orientation, writing the right job description, and regular reviews. are the obstacles. Oops. Now, the obstacles to staff empowerment, the first point is not written out here. Can someone say what is the first point? Why don't we empower our staff? Why don't we delegate? SBS is not written the first point. Yes, yes, yes. What did you say? Scared? I am scared to. I am scared to. He said, I'm scared to transfer my duties. Why? He can take over. I am insecure. I am insecure. I don't have enough faith or belief in my own abilities. I am continuously insecure about my staff, that they are better than they can. If they have become better than me, I lose my importance. Not all. Second point is not all staff want to be empowered. Now, once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you do the Belbin exercise, the psychometric tool, you'll find one particular kind of staff there who are called team workers. They don't want additional responsibility. If you give them additional responsibility, they get scared. Now, don't hold it against them. Don't think that they're bad people. They're just built like that. Psychometry is about preference. Now, I like fish and chips. Now, if he invites me over to his place, would you do that? If he invites me over to his place and gives me biryani, okay, I will eat it. But I prefer fish and chips. It's about preference. Many employees are comfortable with routine tasks and little responsibility. Okay, you'll find them. Okay, 9 to 5, 2 hours Facebook, 1 hour WhatsApp, finish the work, nice coffee, discussion with the boys about football, mashallah. Okay, going back home for grocery. There are people like that. Now, these are the people you need to observe and bring them up the curve. You have to ask them for their accountabilities. What have you done? What have you done in this 8-9 hours? No, not as a threat. Not to threaten them or scare them, but to explain and, as Yasmin very clearly pointed out, guide them. That do you believe that what you're doing is ethically right? If you have a trouble, let me assist you. I'll be helping with you. I'll work along with you. Cultural obstacles to empowerment, gender obstacles to empowerment. Now, this is something that you find mostly in Asian countries, that people think that, she's a woman, she can't do this. Okay? She can't take on power, which is absolutely incorrect. A live example for this gender obstacles is one of my colleagues in Almarai. Her name is Mishael Bukshe. She is the HR manager of the ladies section of the team. And she is, according to me and to a lot of other staff in Almarai, one of the best HR managers that Almarai has. She's a lady, she's a Saudi lady. Employees must have the desire for more responsibility to be empowered. Now, this desire factor you will find out when you conduct your tests. Are we clear about this? Now, the questions in this section will come to you mainly about what kind of obstacles are there. If you have understood this, I will just rehash. The line manager doesn't want to delegate because of his insecurity. Employee doesn't want to take extra charge. Employee is happy with his current responsibilities. I have gender biases, that she's a woman, she can't do it. I have cultural biases. He's French, he can't do it. We don't like French people. Okay? It's like that. And employees do not have the desire. So this is all that's going to be. Are you clear with this? Can you write the answer without even looking at the slides now? Super. It's time for the break.